Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy. First off, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Hope everybody has a good, safe holiday this year. Got a few things. We had some ideas from our roundtable the other night. HKV and I talked, and DLX. We've talked about several different ideas. I'm going to go over a couple of them today and hopefully helps new hams out on getting into this hobby and maybe answer any questions they have. We all three of us kind of watch social media a little bit and kind of look at questions new hams are asking, and one of them was, "What are the types of licenses? What is let's see if I can get my glasses on. FRS, GMRS, things like that mean in relation to ham radio." So I'm gonna break down some of these license classes today and tell you what I found out about them. So here's options. LMR is a license required radio band. Radios must be programmed with your licensed frequencies. MURS, MURS, non licensed. Radios come pre programmed with MURS frequencies, and these are options for business. CB, Citizens Band, old 11-meter ham band. Non licensed. Radios come pre programmed with CB frequencies, or what CBers, and I'm an old CBer myself from way years back, commonly called channels. They're channelized radios, FCC type accepted. ISM, non licensed, operates in the 903 to 928 megahertz band. And that's for a radio business that wants to go license free type of business. FRS, Family Radio Service, or the deer hunting radios as I call them. Service between low powered handheld radios for individual, family, group, recreational, and now includes business activities. Channel 1 through 7, 15 through 22 must not exceed 2 watts. GMRS has to have a license for small business only. Those radios are for small business only, and you have to have a license to run them. Operates in the 462 to 467 megahertz range. FCC licensed GMRS to facilitate the activities of licensees and their immediate family members, so only small family run businesses qualify to use GMRS. One license covers the license fee and immediate family members. All right, so let's overview of the frequency of the radios. FRS, like I said, was 462 to 467 megahertz. GMRS, those are UHF frequencies. They're in the same range, but are different channelized. LMR, VHF 150 to 174, UHF 421 to 512. MERS is a VHF 151 to 154. Marine is 156 to 162. Only use marine radios. All marine radios have the same preset channels and frequencies. All right. Marine and air band radio channels are configured for specific frequencies and uses. For marine, no license required for harbor and underway. A license is required to operate in international waters. So if you're thinking about buying a marine radio to use deer hunting and somebody hears you in the middle of Texas on a marine radio channel, that could get you in trouble because they're only licensed for use in a harbor and underway. ISM, also known as the 33 centimeter, used for short range communications. That's another one of the business bands. Air band, 108 to 137 megahertz. There's 760 max channels. All airband radios have the same preset frequencies and channels. All right. Let's see what it says down here. It doesn't have anything listed, but they're for use in aircraft. CB radio, 26.965 to 27.405 megahertz. Ham, HF, VHF, and UHF, a license is required, and repeater use is allowed. Some of those others repeaters are not allowed. All right, like FRS, no repeater use is allowed, but a GMRS does allow repeater. FRS, FCC does not require a license. All right, intended for use between family and friends from short distances. Now for both commercial and personal use. All right, FRS is now authorized to use up to 2 watts ERP effective radiated power. GMRS, now this is something kind of contradictory. I just don't really understand. I thought it was for business, but it says it's for individuals and their friends and family for non-commercial use only. Radios can be up to 5 watts and does require a license. LMR is for business, government agencies, nonprofit organization. License requirement for them is required and license good for 10 years. MERS is an unlicensed service for either MERS business or personal use. Equipment has preset frequencies on 5 channels in the VHF 151-154 megahertz range. Since it's open to everyone, the lack of privacy and channel interference may be a problem in a business setting, and they're limited to 2 watts or less. Ham radio, we'll talk more about that in a minute. CB. CBs used to require a license. Citizens Band, and when it was originally 11 meters was given to Citizens Band back in the 60s, I believe, was set up for business use, and you required a license. And I remember, I think the license fee at one time was $25. I know in '75, when I applied for my license, was $4, and my call sign, believe it or not, I can remember it. I don't know if there's no way to check it, so you're just going to take my word on it, but my CB call sign was Kilo X-Ray Echo 2158. I can remember that as plain as day. All right, doesn't require a license now. Can be used for commercial or personal communications. Equipment has preset frequencies on 40 channels, operates with AM modulation on 4 watts transmitted power. So, all right, marine radios are specifically designed for communications on waterways. And like I said before, they got pre-assigned frequencies. Same with the airband radios. So, a lot of different information there about different license classes of radios. I see a lot of people talking about buying certain types of radios to use on for their 4-wheeler clubs and things like that. And, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what you can and can't do. The law will tell you what you can and can't do. And operating in a ham amateur frequency that you're not authorized to operate on, and or a business frequency, or using a marine radio improperly on land use, could get you in trouble if somebody reports it. Now, again, there's not, FCC's not everywhere. I don't recommend anybody using any kind of a radio in any manner that they're not licensed for, because FCC controls communications. You are going to get in trouble if somebody pushes it. So don't use them if you're not authorized, no matter what type of radio it is. All right? Ham bands. Ham radios are different. Ham radios are not FCC type accepted radios. Ham radios have a VFO. They're not channelized. You can tune anywhere you want to in that band. It's a great hobby. Great hobby to get into. We're seeing a lot. We was talking about this the other night, and one of my previous videos about getting on HF on 10 meters was really aimed at trying to get some of these new hams on 10 meters. We see a lot of new hams that are strictly talking about buying a talkie and getting on local repeaters. That's fine. That's absolutely great. You're still a ham radio operator. If you use your call sign and your radio frequency and your privileges correctly, you're the same ham radio operator anybody else is. Don't let anybody tell you different. And if all you can afford is one of these little outfits, a Bay Old Fun, get it. Jeff, WD5HKV, related a story, and I had read it and didn't get to read all of it, where there was a VE that talked about it bought hundreds of these things. And he had a standard practice. Anybody who passes his technician test, he knows where they're from. He pre-programs them a Bayo Feng radio and gives it to them as a gift for becoming a ham radio operator when they get the call sign. That's great. Wish I lived closer to that guy. I'd buy a couple and he'd give to him to give away. That's a great idea. And I reckon if I ever decide to become a VE, if I ever get into that, I may consider doing something like that myself. But here's where I think, again, what I'm about to say is my opinion. And me and the HKV and DLX trying to discuss this last night. When I started this, and HKV started it, and I'm not sure DLX may have been the same way, you had to go the novice technician route and higher. Well, when you started as a novice, you were strictly on below 30 megahertz. That was your world. What little pieces of the band, whether you operated in CW, and the only phone section was 28.3 to 28.5 and 10 meters. Loved it. Man, I happened to get into this hobby during that last huge sunspot cycle, and my radio was wore out between 28.3 and 28.5. That's where I stayed and made a ton of contacts, and the majority of them on that wall there were made during that time. All right. But at the time I got in, being a novice, well, I want to be a technician so I can work VHF, UHF. It was I don't know what the right word is, but it was the next step in your licensing. All right. So now, if you're starting out as a tech and you've got all of those privileges that it took me 2 licenses to get, a lot of people are picking to go straight VHF, UHF. Could be due to budget. Could be due to antenna concerns. I don't know. But try not to limit yourself there. If you don't get on nothing but 10 meters, 10 meters is fixing to be fun. It's getting fun right now because the bands are starting to open up more. And I had a guy comment on one of my posts said, well, you would know if the band was open because there's not anybody on it. Well, yeah, there's a lot of people on it. I've sat here many a day and thinking the band was dead, throw CQ call out and got somebody to answer. Try to your best, if at all possible, and you're working in your budget, to get on HF. Get on 10 meters as a tech. And you'll know real quick whether you want to pursue it any further. I think you'll love it, and I think you'll want to pursue it further. But the main thing to remember is download a band plan, operate in the area of your license and the modes that are allowed for you to use. Don't operate out of that. That doesn't make you a good operator. And but do the modes that you're authorized to use and enjoy it. Try to get on HF. Alrighty, I think I rambled a little bit. I wanted to get that out about those different types of licenses. I think next video we're going to talk about the amount of questions in each ham test and talk about some licensing options there. Let's see, there's one other thing I was going to mention, but I'm an old boomer and I can't remember all of it half the time. But I appreciate everybody who subscribed to the channel. I enjoy doing these, and appreciate the good comments we get on them. Ham Radio Cat being lazy today, I don't guess she's going to come in here. But hope everybody has a great week and a Merry Christmas. This is KB5MIQ, Big Boy, 73.